welcome. So here we have a fascinating in-game where only one move saves the game for black. Can you find it? Well, we're going to look through the different options here, but before we do, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So we're going to look here. There's only one saving move for black. So what is it? Well, what do you think? Feel free to pause the video, but look through the different variations. First of all, the best thing to do for black is to try and figure out what is white trying to do. And ultimately, white's idea of winning this game is getting g4, g5, and attacking this pawn so that the king can get into e5. So if we go with our first option, let's say if we went e5, check. Well, this is completely losing as we can see because white can capture and you can't push the pawn because otherwise white has a pass pawn, so you have to take. White takes and he's just going to get in and eat this pawn over here. So clearly that cannot be the answer. What about pushing to f5? Again, clearly a losing move because white just has to go in and will gobble up the pawn and will eventually get over to here because black is too far away. Well, what about, you may say, moving black's king in closer? Could that be the answer? Well, the move d5 is a losing move. Why is that? Because it allows this move g4, and even if black comes in here to c6, the move g5 completely wins the game because if you push, white gets in here, and even if you protect this pawn, white gets in here and will gobble up this pawn and this pawn, and black will not be able to save the game. So if it's not a king move, if it's not either of these moves, could it be g5? Well, again, g5 is not the correct answer because you get f takes g5, and um, if black has to take here, because if black goes here to check the king, he moves over, and again, if black doesn't take here, white has a pass pawn and will queen, so they have to take, and then you just gobble up the pawns. So if we come back to here, if he takes the pawn, again we have this issue of white coming in and taking all the pawns before black can react. So that really only leaves us with one move left. So can you see the one move that completely saves the game for black? Well, very simply, can you believe it? It's h5. And why is h5 a winning move? Well, because h5 stops this idea of g4, g5. So in response, white would have to go h3 to try and double up here. Um, Black then goes to b5. Now you can bring your king in. White will try and push to g4, and after pawn takes, and king c6, we've got 3 pawns on 3, and white can move to e4. Black moves to d6. King goes to d4. King goes to c6. The reason being, of course, that neither side wants to give uh, any access, but if white pushes to g5, you get takes, king to e5. We're still completely level in this game. We get g takes f, and then we get e6, king to c5, and as we see, white is going to have to take this pawn, but black is going to get up in time, and it's a completely dead drawn game. So a fascinating in-game where the only saving move was this outside pawn h5 move. So you can imagine if this was a classical game, you probably would have figured it out. But otherwise, if it was blitz or something, most likely not. So fascinating in-game. Thank you for your time.